Students, myself Babida Matthew. Today I am going to present the topic cord prolapse and presentation. Presentation and prolapse of the umbilical cord. Cord presentation. This occurs when the umbilical cord lies in front of the presenting part with the fetal membrane still intact. So, without rupture of membrane, if the umbilical cord lies in front of the presenting part, that means in front of the presenting part means if the breech is presenting part, so in front of the breech. If the cephalic is the presentation or head is the presentation, so in front of the head. So that is the cord presentation. In the cord presentation, the umbilical cord lies in front of the presenting part, but the fetal membrane still intact means not ruptured. Cord prolapse. The cord lies in front of the presenting part, same as in the cord presentation, but the main problem is the fetal membranes are ruptured, so it is visible outside. So cord prolapse is the cord is in front of the presenting part and the fetal membranes are ruptured. Next is occult cord prolapse. Occult cord prolapse, this is said to occur when the cord lies alongside, that is the side of the presenting part, alongside of the presenting part, but not in front of the presenting part. If it lies in front of the presenting part, that is known as cord presentation. If the and the membranes are intact, when the cord lies in front of the presenting part and the membranes are ruptured, that is known as cord prolapse. And when the cord lies alongside of the presenting part, that is known as what? Occult cord prolapse. We can see three of these with picture. This is the occult. I already explained. The cord lies alongside, one side of the presenting part. Cord presentation, you can see cord is presenting but membranes still intact. But in prolapse, it is in front of the presenting part and membranes are ruptured. You can see the fluid is leaking. Okay, we can see the predisposing factors. First is high parity and high head. High parity means if the membrane ruptures spontaneously. When the fetal head is high, a loop of cord may be able to pass between the uterine wall and the fetus, resulting in its lying in front of the presenting part. That means head is not fixed. When the head is not fixed in the pelvis, there may be space in between the head and the pelvic rib. So that space, between the space of the head and the pelvis, the loop of cord may be prolapsed or maybe come into the in front of the presenting part. That is a high parity and a high head. Next is the prematurity. When baby is premature, the size of the fetus in relation to the pelvis and the uterus allows the cord to be prolapsed. That means when the baby is small, the baby is very low birth weight, that is less than 1500 gram, are particularly vulnerable for cord presentation. That is when the baby is very small, it will be when the compared to the pelvic diameter, baby is small. So there may be space between the baby's head and the pelvis. So in between that space, the cord may be prolapsed. Then multiparity, the presenting part may be not engaged when the membranes rupture and malpresentation is more common. So if the malpresentation is there, the head will not fit into the pelvis. If the like face presentation, breech presentation, drop presentation. So if it is malpresentation, there may be more space between the fetal head and the pelvis. So there is a chance of cord prolapse or presentation. Then malpresentation, breech presentation, especially complete or foot limb. We can see. So the breech presentation, there may be space. You can see this one. Then foot limb breech means the breech with the head, one foot is out. So that in that positions or in that presentation, there may be space between the pelvis and the baby. This relates to the ill-fitting nature of the presenting parts and also the proximity of the umbilicus to the buttocks. So shoulder and compound presentation and transverse line. So all these presentation like face or brow presentation, so all the presentation, it is not fitting to the pelvis. So there is a more prone to have cord presentation and the prolapse. Then multiple pregnancy. Malpresentation, particularly of the second twin, is more common in the multiple pregnancy. So that also prone. Then polyhydramnios, when the baby, when the fluid is more than the adequate amount, after the membrane is ruptured, when the gush of liquid is poured through the vagina, when the gush, that force causes the cord to sweep down in the gush of liquid, the membrane ruptures spontaneously. Then controlled release of liquid during the artificial rupture of the membranes is sometimes performed to try to prevent this. So usually if the polyhydramnios is there, there is a chance of swept of the cord through the gush of liquid. So what we can do? We can do the artificial rupture, the controlled release. So we have to keep the one hand when we make the incision in the amniotic sac. So slowly release the fluid. Then there will not be any gush of fluid. Then next is the cord presentation. How can we diagnose? This is diagnosed on vaginal examination when the cord is well behind the intact membrane. You can see intact membrane. When we do the vaginal examination, we can see or we can feel the cord behind the intact membrane. And it is, however, rarely detected, but not may be associated with the aberrations in the fetal heart rate monitoring, such as deceleration. Deceleration means reduce the long term, reduce the FHS. It will be last for the long time. So during the contraction time usually occur. So if there is fetal heart rate deceleration, so we have to check for any cord presentation, which occur if the cord become compressed. When the baby's cord is compressed, when the uterine contraction occur, then will deceleration occur. So we have to check it for any cord presentation. Next, management. Under no circumstance should the membranes be ruptured. So if we feel that cord is present in front of the presenting part, we should not rupture the membrane. The midwife should discontinue the vaginal examination in order to reduce the risk of rupturing the membranes. And medical aid should be summoned. You have to call for the medical aid to assess the fetal well-being. Continuous electrode fetal monitoring should be commenced, or the fetal heart rate should be auscultated on continuously as possible. So to continuous fetal monitoring, either continuous electronic fetal monitoring record should be should be put into the patient. So we can check for the continuous fetal heart rate. Then the mother should be held in the position that will reduce the likelihood of cord compression. That is, position will be shown later on. So we can use the position which reduces the cord compression. Next, we have to arrange everything, and for the cesarean section is done more likely. If we felt that cord is compression is there and the FHS FHS has the deceleration, I would go for the cesarean section. Next, cord prolapse diagnosis. How can we diagnose the cord prolapse? A vaginal examination should be performed immediately on the spontaneous rupture of membrane. So after the rupture of membrane, if it is spontaneous, and we already explained about the risk factors. So if the patient is at risk of cord prolapse like malpresentation, multiple pregnancy, then polyhydramnios, all these conditions you have to do after the rupture of membrane. Immediately you have to do the vaginal examination. Then we can see the bradycardia and variable or prolonged deceleration of the fetal heart rate are also associated with the cord compression. Then cord is felt below or beside the presenting part on vaginal examination. So after the rupture of membrane, if we do the vaginal examination, we can feel the cord in front of the presenting part. The cord may be felt in the vagina or in the cervical os, or a loop of cord may be visible at the vulva. We can visible the cord at the vulva or the cervical os. Next, what all the immediate action should be done? The midwife should call for the urgent assistance. The midwife should explain her finding to the mother and her birth partner. If an oxytocin infusion is in progress, this should be stopped. So we have to inform, call the urgent. We have to call the other persons immediately, and we have to explain the condition to the mother and the partner. and also if the patient is on oxytocin infusion, we have stopped because we have to stop the contraction. So we have to stop the oxytocin infusion. Then if the cord lies outside the vagina, then it should be gently replaced to oxygenation, prevent spasm to maintain temperature. So if the cord is outside the vagina, what will happen? The compression will go. That's why we have to keep back to the vagina. Then if it is out of the vagina, you have to do all these things to oxygen, to prevent spasm, then to maintain the temperature and prevent drying of the cord. If it visible to the outside, it should be dry. So it will interrupt the oxygenation of the baby, the circulation of the fetus. So that's why we have to keep it should be gently replaced to the vagina. Then administer oxygen to the mother by face mask at 4 liters per minute, maybe improve the fetal condition. Then relieve the pressure. How already I told you in the cord presentation also. So relieve the pressure on the cord. How can be done by the cord for the cord presentation and the cord prolapse? The midwife may need to keep her fingers in the vagina and hold the presenting part off to the umbilical cord. So നമ്മൾ പെർവജൽ എക്സാമിനേഷൻ ചെയ്ത് നോക്കിയപ്പോൾ കോഡ് പുറത്ത് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് എങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? ആ കൈ അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ വെച്ചിട്ട് കൈ കൊണ്ട് ആ പ്രസന്റിങ് പാർട്ടിനെ തള്ളി മുകളിലോട്ടേക്ക് ആക്കി വെക്കണം. അപ്പോൾ ആ കംപ്രഷനെ പ്രിവെൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. കംപ്രഷൻ വരുമ്പോൾ ഉള്ള ആ പ്രഷറിനെ പ്രിവെൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കും. The mother can be helped to change her position to further reduce the pressure on the cord. Then raising her pelvis and buttocks or adopting the knee chest position. You can see from this picture, this is the knee chest position. So it will relieve the compression. So baby will be, the gravitation force will be to the downwards. So this compression will be relieved. So raising the pelvis and the buttocks and adopting knee chest position will cause the fetus to gravitate towards the diaphragm. So the compression will be relieved. Then the foot end of the bed may also be raised. That is a Trendelenburg position. You already studied in the first year Trendelenburg position to relieve the compression on the cord. Then alternatively, the mother can be helped to lie on her left side with the wedge or pillow elevated her hips, that is exaggerated Sims position. You can show, I will show the picture. This is a knee chest position. This is the exaggerated Sims position. The pillow or wedges are used to elevate the woman's buttocks, relieve the pressure on the umbilical cord. Next, there is some evidence to suggest that bladder filling may also be an effective technique for managing the cord prolapse. So if we have to introduce the catheter and fill we can introduce some saline, okay, to the bladder, and if we fill the bladder, so what will it will help to push the presenting part upward. So that is also relieve the pressure. And a self-retaining 16 gauge Foley's catheter is used to instill approximately 500 to 700 ml of sterile saline into the bladder. The full bladder can relieve the compression of the cord by elevating the presenting part about 2 cm above the ischial spine. Then the bladder should be drained the theatre immediately before the delivery. So if you are going for a cesarean section, immediately before the delivery, you have to drain the bladder in the theatre, and birth must be expedited with the greatest possible speed to reduce the mortality and morbidity associated with this condition. And cesarean section is the treatment of choice in those instances where the fetus is still alive and the vaginal birth is not imminent. So we have to go for the cesarean section. Then if the cord prolapse is diagnosed in the second stage of labor with the multiparous mother, the midwife may perform an episiotomy to expedite the birth. So to fasten the delivery, can give the episiotomy if the patient is on second stage. Where the presentation is cephalic, assisted birth may be achieved through the venous or forceps. We can fasten the labor. And if the cord prolapse occurs in the community, emergency transfer the patient to the hospital is essential. With the, we already explained, position should be maintained properly. Then midwife should carry out the same procedure to relieve the compression on the cord, and consultant unit staff should be informed and be prepared to perform an emergency section. We have to inform the hospital so they will be ready for the emergency cesarean section. That's all about the cord prolapse, cord presentation and occult presentation. So ഒരു ഇൻസിഡൻറ്റ് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, സോ ഞങ്ങൾ പോസ്റ്റിങ്ങിലുണ്ടായിരുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഒരു ദിവസം ഒരു ലേഡി ഷീ വാസ് എ പ്രൈമി ഗ്രാവിഡ വുമൺ. അവർക്ക് എന്താ പ്രോബ്ലംസ് എന്ന് വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പോളിഹൈഡ്രാമിയസ് ആയിരുന്നു, സിവിയർ പോളിഹൈഡ്രാമിയസ് ആയിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ ഷീ ഹാഡ് വജൈനൽ ഇൻഫെക്ഷൻസും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. സോ വജൈനൽ ഇൻഫെക്ഷൻസ് ട്രീറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് അവർ 3 days 4 days ആൻറ്റിബയോട്ടിക്സ് കൊടുത്തിട്ട് അവർ ഇൻഡക്ഷൻ ഓഫ് ലേബറിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ലേബർ റൂമിൽ കിടത്തിയേക്കാണ്. ലേബർ റൂമിൽ കിടത്തി ഇൻഡക്ഷനൊക്കെ ചെയ്ത് ഓക്സിറ്റോസിനൊക്കെ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തു. അവർക്ക് ഒത്തിരി വണ്ണുള്ളൊരു ലേഡിയായിരുന്നു. ഇൻഡക്ഷനൊക്കെ കിടത്തി കഴിഞ്ഞ് പേഷ്യൻ്റ് ഒരു 3 to 4 centimeter ഒക്കെ ഡയലറ്റേഷൻ ആയപ്പോൾ ഡോക്ടർ ഒന്ന് ARM ചെയ്തു നോക്കാനായിട്ട് ARM ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ, കാരണം ഒരു പോളിഹൈഡ്രാമിനേഴ്സ് ആയിരുന്നു. ഷീ വാസ് ഓൾസോ GDM പേഷ്യൻറ്റും ആയിരുന്നു, പോളിഹൈഡ്രാമിനേഴ്സും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. GDM വരാവുന്നൊരു പ്രോബ്ലം തന്നെയാണ് പോളിഹൈഡ്രാമിനേഴ്സും അവനുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. സോ ഡോക്ടർ ARM ചെയ്തു കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ സഡൻലി പെട്ടെന്ന് ഗഷ് ഓഫ് ഫ്ലൂയിഡ് വരികയും അതിൻ്റെ കൂട്ടത്തിൽ കോഡ് പുറത്തോട്ടേക്ക് തള്ളി വരികയും ചെയ്തു. സോ ഡോക്ടർ എന്താ ചെയ്തതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, ഡോക്ടർ അപ്പം തന്നെ ആ കോഡിനെ ഉള്ളിലേക്ക് ആ കൈ കൊണ്ട് ആക്കി വെച്ചിട്ട് അവിടെ നിന്ന് കൈ എടുത്തില്ല. ആ പ്രവചനത്തിൽ അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ കൈ വെച്ചിട്ട് വേഗം എല്ലാവരും കൂടി ഡ്രിപ്പ് പേഷ്യൻ്റ് എക്സ്ട്രാ ഒരു ക്യാനിലിട്ടു, ഓക്സിറ്റോസിസ് സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ചെയ്തു, ഫീറ്റൽ മോണിറ്ററിങ് കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് ഇലക്ട്രോണിക് ഫീറ്റൽ മോണിറ്ററിങ്ങിനുള്ളതൊക്കെ അബ്ഡോമിനൽ ടൈ ചെയ്തു, വേഗം ടെസ്റ്റ് ഡോസ് എല്ലാം കൊടുത്തു. സഡൻലി വേഗം കാത്തീട്രൈസ് ചെയ്തു. പക്ഷേ ഡോക്ടർ ആ കൈ അവിടെ തന്നെ വെച്ചിട്ടിരുന്നു, കാരണം കംപ്രഷൻ ഉണ്ടാവാതിരിക്കാൻ. എന്നിട്ട് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ്ലി പേഷ്യൻ്റ് അതേ പൊസിഷനിൽ നമ്മൾ കട്ടിലെ പാടി അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ ഡോക്ടർ പിടിച്ച് അവിടെ തന്നെ ഇരുന്നിട്ട് അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ തിയേറ്ററിലേക്ക് ഷിഫ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ഓട്ടി ചെന്ന് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ പേഷ്യൻ്റ് കൈ റിലീവ് ചെയ്തുള്ളൂ ബിഫോർ ദ സർജറി. സോ ദിസ് വാസ് ആൻ ഇൻസിഡൻറ്റ് ഹാപ്പൻ ഡ്യൂറിങ് അവർ പോസ്റ്റിംഗ്. So that's all about the condition. I think all of you are clearly understood. Hi students, let's discuss about the next condition, vasa previa. It is an abnormality of the cord that occurs when one or more blood vessels from the umbilical cord or placenta crosses the cervix, but it is not covered by the Watson jelly. We already explained about the cord presentation, but in cord presentation, the umbilical cord with Watson jelly it is crosses the presenting part. But this one, it is the blood vessels without Watson's jelly. It may be crosses the presenting part. Okay. Then this condition can cause hypoxia to the baby due to pressure on the blood vessel. It is a life-threatening condition. It occurs in 1 in 2,500 birth. We can see the etiology. These vessels may be from either velamentous insertion of the cord. Sometimes we already studied about the velamentous insertion of the umbilical cord. So it may be sometime because of from the velamentous insertion of the cord. And placental lobe join in the main disc of the placenta. So the placental lobe it is joining to the main disc of the placenta. There may be chance of it may be present in front. And low lying placenta, when the placenta is low lying, there is a chance. And previous delivery by cesarean section. So these are the etiological factors. So this is the velamentous insertion of the placenta. Then symptoms: sudden onset of painless vaginal bleeding, especially in their second and third trimester. So sudden onset of painless vaginal bleeding. The baby's blood is a darker red color due to the naturally lower oxygen level of the fetus. Then it very dark burgundy blood is seen when the water breaks. This may be an indication of vasa previa. So if it is water also breaks, it is the main, we can see the very dark burgundy blood may be seen. Next, how can we die? The classical triad of vasa previa is the membranes rupture, painless vaginal bleeding, and fetal bradycardia. This is a classical triad of the vasa previa diagnosis. Then antenatal sonography with color flow Doppler reveals a vessel crossing the membrane over the internal cervical os can be seen by the sonography. The diagnosis is usually confirmed after delivery on examination of placenta and fetal membrane. When we are examining the placenta, we can diagnose properly. And what are the treatment? The baby may be delivered by cesarean section between 35th to 37th week of pregnancy. And hospitalization throughout the third trimester is also recommended. Steroids are sometimes used to mature the lungs of the fetus if the fetus is image. After the scanning, if you find out that is a vasa previa, the baby is not mature, then what we have to do? We